Ever wonder what to do with an old cable box or an old satellite box that's heading to recycling because it's no longer compatible with the existing service that you've got? Well, usually they got a hard drive in them that you can recycle and reuse. I got some goodies today dropped off as a gift. One of my neighbors I did some work for had a couple of old cable boxes, and he says, "Here, have at it." So let's see what we can find in here. What pieces of these could I possibly need? Well, oh look, I get an HDMI cable, cool, and a power cord, a polarized power cord. That's always good to have, but that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in that bad boy. Let's see how big a hard drive I just scored. I got two of these cable boxes, so we'll find out pretty quick how big my score is. Of course, once I'm done ripping the hard drive out of this thing's gonna go in the garbage. Oops. Yeah, the big warning. It says unauthorized tampering. Well, this is obsolete technology, these things now. I love the security screws. So, it says call Shaw to return it. Oh well, I think Shaw's lost their cable box once and for all. Actually, I'm sure this was a purchased one, because I think if they had any claim to it, the guy that owned it would have been taking it back. But anyway, it was donated to me, so let's see if we can get into this thing and see how big the hard drive is that we can take out of this one. Gotta love these security screws that they put in here. Made it difficult to get in. But get in we will. A couple screws later, top cover pops off, and I see that I've got myself, how big is this drive? Ah, it's a small one, it's only 160 gigs. Oh well, that's still better than a kick in the head. So we'll just pop this drive out, and it'll get formatted and used for backup stuff. I back up my video files from the camera when I'm working on my YouTube stuff. I keep a backup copy of my files from my SD card, and I usually put them on old drives. Some of these I've got 320 gig drives. I've got a number of them that I've picked up. And quite often pick these things up at the old Value Village for, you know, $2. And some of them will have even a 500 gig drive in it. So usually I can, you know, most of them, this is a smaller one, but most of them are 250 or 320, I think, as the most common size, and some 500s. But a 500 gig drive will store a lot of files. So we just pull the drive, unplug it, clean it up a bit. All that dirt. Fan in here too. We'll keep the fan, we'll keep the drive, and the rest of this thing goes in the bin. Let's check out the other one that I got, because I got brought two of them, and maybe the second one will have a bigger drive. So there it is, a Western Digital 160 gig hard drive. I'll make use of it somewhere. Here's the fan. Even got a battery in here. It's got a little lithium cell. Of course, these batteries, they were to back up the memory on it, because these were DigiCipher. So I just corrupted all the keys by disconnecting the battery. I don't know if this thing's got any charge left in it or not. It looks like it's from '09, so battery's 9 years old. I'm sure it's pretty much. So lithium thionyl chloride battery. Do not recharge. Let's get this fan out of here, however it's held in. Held in by clips. We'll just push the clips out. There we go. Collected myself a nice little cooling fan. So keep that. I'll keep the hard drive, and the rest of this thing goes in the bin. Let's dig up the second one. This is a bit bigger one, this one, so I might, I don't know what size this one is. Probably the same size. It's hard to tell from here. I can't see the numbers. But anyway, this is another one. This one's got a different back on it. Looks like one of the security screws might be under this cover. So we'll take the cover off and see what's under here. See, these ones didn't even have an RF out on them. Ah, that's what that is. That covers the RF out. I guess that's to give it the dual tuners. I'll have to open this box up and see what's actually inside this thing, because this just gave it a single cable input, and it terminated everything else on the back of the box. Okay, give me a minute to get the screws on. I bet you this is the same size drive. I think this is identical to the other one. Now, of course, the idea behind these security screws is they're not going to keep you out of them, but you can open them up with a pair of pliers. But the thing is, doing so, you're going to leave evidence behind that you've been into the unit. That's why they used a lot of these type of security screws. Let's say we're difficult to obtain the tool to remove them, and if you used a pair of pliers like this to tamper, then the cable company would know. Now these boxes are obsolete now because they work using MPEG-2 compression, and the cable companies, of course, MPEG-2 is not efficient enough. They've gone to MPEG-4. So these old boxes have all been phased out. That's why the cable guys don't even want them back. They won't activate them anymore. There may be a few of them that are still out there. I think probably most of them have been swapped out in the field. But anybody that had one of these units, they were told to recycle it. And that's what happened. The guy that I got these from was, well, first of all, he's changed providers. But they didn't want them back. They just told him to send them to the recycle company. So he gave them to me to pull the hard drives out and anything else I want. Yeah, this one's got the same 160 gig hard drive. So basically, for 5 minutes worth of work, I scored myself 2 fans and 2 160 gig hard drives. I'm not even going to bother to keep the power supply or anything. It really doesn't really have any, I don't have any use for it. As you can see, it's the same. Well, not the same. It's a different unit because the tuners were in a different location. The other one, the tuners were over here. This one has a cable, like a smart card slot on the front, whereas the other one just had the cable card, I believe. They're different models, but do the same thing. This one I think is probably older than the other one, but anyway. A couple 160 gig hard drives. I figure I probably did okay for no cost. I like the ones that have got the 500s in them. I've had a couple satellite receivers that I've scrapped, and they had like 500 gig drives in them. Those are always nice to get. Same thing with the fan on this thing. We'll just pop the fan out. Oh, this one here, yep, they come out the same way. There's rubber clips. Fan out. Rest of the unit scrap. There you go. 260 gig drives for free. Old cable boxes, good source for them. They're just standard SATA drives. Format them with Windows or whatever you want, and they tend to work pretty good. These type of drives are ones that are designed to run like 24 hours a day. They're designed for video. So they tend to be actually quite reliable. And if you want to check out the voltage on the battery that I pulled out, 3.69 volts. Battery is still good. I'll keep both of the batteries as well. as usual, thanks for watching.